Hello, amazing souls. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights Podcast, a show to demystify the soul, intuition, and the Akashic Records. We know a thing or two about the ups and downs of being on a spiritual growth plan and how to find the higher perspective, even when it seems like there isn't one. I'm your host, Matty Hollingsworth.
And I'm your host, Emily Pearl. We've been professional intuitives and energy healers for over 20 years now. We believe each of us are on a unique path of growth and learning, and our intuition is meant to be our guide. The problem is, most of us have never learned how to use it. That's where we come in, helping you discover how your intuition works and the lessons your soul has chosen to learn in this life is what we're all about.
All right, y'all, let's jump right into today's show. Hey there, amazing soul friends, and welcome to today's show. It's all about 6 tips to help you leap into the unknown with more confidence. This is a good follow up to our first show where we discussed the 6 signs that your soul is telling you you're ready to make that leap into the unknown. So if you haven't given that a listen after you hear this show, go back and check that one out as well. We hope you're having a good day. Me and Emily are really excited to be here with you again.
Yes, we are. We are so excited to be recording our second podcast. We are sitting in Fort Collins, Colorado, outside of the city, having a beautiful view. So it's a really nice place to record this podcast. Shall we get started?
Absolutely.
So, before we get started on the 6 tips, we wanted to kind of talk about what it has been like for the last 3 years of our traveling. In the first episode, we talked about it being our 3 year anniversary of traveling, and we're just so excited about it. 4 years ago, we were unhappy in our jobs. The thought that we could be here today, it was just not even on our radar yet. And so once we were laid off during the pandemic and we really started to evaluate our lives, I know we kind of went over our story a little bit more in the first episode, so I won't go over that again here. But I will pick up how we really just started to make the major changes. And that is when we started working in the Akashic Records. We started getting all of these intuitive hits. And one of the biggest hits was it's time to sell your house. You know, you've been wanting to travel for a really long time, and this is the way to make that happen. Just to kind of give you a little bit even more backstory, up until this point, we had been on this strict money saving plan, if you will. Our plan was we were putting money aside because we wanted to buy a vacation rental. Well, at the time of the pandemic, we just had a little bit of money saved. Even though we had been implementing this plan for a while, things had happened. So we kind of had to use some of the saving, but this was still our plan. But then when we got this intuitive hit, hey, if you sell your house, then you will be able to earn enough money and start traveling now. You won't have to wait until you can get the house fixed up in order to rent it out. It was just a gentle nudge, so to speak. It kind of sparked the light that things could possibly be different. So we just kind of took notice. And then we started getting more intuitive hits about how this could be possible.
We even got intuitive hits to the point when we decided we were going to do this. We were going to go against that logical plan that we had laid out to turn our home into a vacation rental. And we were going to sell it and hit the road, open ended, and just see what happens. We knew that the person who bought our home was going to make a cash offer. We knew that they were going to be working at a nearby business. And we knew that they were going to love the property and tell us that they could feel how much love we had put into it, that it was just obvious and that they wanted to be a part of it. As we kept working in the Akashic Records and we were making decisions on what updates to do and how to approach this, and we got ready to put the home on the market, we even went against the advice of our realtors and told them to list it for 20% more than what the next comparable sale had given them. We even knew the price point to ask for that was going to attract this client that would buy our home. So we were going against logic and against the advice of those that were going to get paid to give us their logic and their advice here.
Yes, our realtors were actually friends of ours. Not really close friends, but definitely friends. And so they felt like their reputation was on the line, and there were definitely some gruff words spoken when we told them that we would not accept the first offer because I mean, it was a really good offer, but we knew it didn't follow the guidelines that our intuition had given us. So we decided to hold out. They were really nervous because, the offers weren't just coming in because we did put the house on for more than what we were advised to, but we just held strong in our confidence and our guidance. The next day, our realtors got a phone call and they got this amazing offer. And this offer, I mean, the woman called and she said, "Stay tuned because I'm going to send you an offer that's going to knock your socks off." And so we ended up getting a call from our realtor that day after we had already kind of been like, "No, we're not taking that first offer." And they kept saying, "Okay, you really need to take it." Like, "No, we're not going to take it." Okay, so they were a little bit irritated with us, but then after they got that phone call about the offer that's gonna knock their socks off, they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're so glad that you didn't accept that first offer." So the offer that came through was really great. However, there was another appointment to look at the house, and by the end of that appointment, the person said, "We have cash. This is gonna be a cash offer, and we're going to match that other offer."
Yeah. Now, this is offers that are bigger than the 20% over what our realtors wanted to ask that we told them to list for. At this point, our realtor just says, maybe there's something to this intuition thing y'all are doing. We just laughed and said, well, we're going to sell the home on intuition. This is how this is working. And we're interested in this because one of our signs is a cash offer. Well, the next day, the offer comes in the early morning. It's even more than the great offer we just got. A letter came with the offer. And in that letter, the gentleman buying the house said where he was going to work. It was the exact place we knew, and told us how much he and his wife loved the property and they could just feel all of the love that we had put into it. And were excited at the possibility of making this their home. It checked all three boxes and we knew. We were like, this is the one we're taking. Let's do this.
Yeah, it really was magical how it all came together. Just so you all know, up until this point, we had not really depended on our intuition this strongly before. But we had just decided that we have to take this leap into the unknown and we have to take this leap of faith. And it was very difficult for us and it was something we'd never done before. So here we are 3 years later, after we had sold our house. It has been an incredible 3 years. I mean, of course, there have been challenges too. Everything in life has its ups and its downs. But for the most part, it's been incredible. We have gotten to travel all over the United States. We've gotten to travel all over Canada. We got to spend 2 months in Thailand on an island, riding around on our motorbike, eating coconuts every day, and the most amazing food. We've seen national parks all over the United States. We've seen national parks in Canada. It's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Absolutely amazing. We are just blown away how much we get to marvel at Mother Nature. That was a huge part of what we wanted to do when we travel. We stay in Airbnbs. Sometimes we grab a hotel for a night or two, depending on how far we're pushing it on the road. We even do house and pet sitting so we can settle into a community for a little while and just kind of check something out. Part of this open ended traveling was we figured if we saw enough of the states, we'd end up with our root chakra grounded somewhere and, calling it our next home. And while I could give a top three list of things, that maybe that's another podcast, but nothing has felt completely like home where we wanted to stop. And we want to do a little more overseas. So our root chakras could be waiting on us to go see Europe. I've never been. So that's high on my list of things to do. I want to check out super old architecture and drink wine in countries that I've only drank their wine while I'm in the States.
That was definitely part of working in fine dining as we did get to drink a lot of really delicious wine. So that is something that we enjoy doing is wine tasting. But we're getting a little off subject here. I just wanted to kind of reiterate before this point, before we started working the Akashic Records, before we really started honing and cultivating our intuition, And I mean, we'd worked with our intuition for many, many years before this point, but once we learned what our most dominant intuitive gifts were, then it really helped like kick our intuition into gear. It really helped us kick the trust factor into gear. And it almost seemed like magic that we were just able to have all of these things fall into place for us to be able to travel for as long as we have. Like Maddie said, we have been doing a lot of house and pet sitting, which has just been so fun. If you all are interested in knowing more about that, then just send us a message to Vibin at Soul Vibe Insights. If you have any questions about our journey or working with your intuition or anything that we talk about here, your soul, then please reach out to us on Vibin. We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear your questions. So I think we can get started. We'll just move ahead and get to those 6 tips that we are going to talk about.
6 tips to help you leap into the unknown with more confidence. We kind of figured these out as we went along. And as we sat here and thought about this, knowing these things anytime in the past before they really kind of became concrete for us would have been a big help. But sometimes you're aware when you're aware and you just move forward.
Indeed.
Not in any order of importance, but number one, get alone, away from other people's unwanted influencing energies so you can figure out what you want. I would say one of the biggest ways to do this is go get in nature. I know you've heard that before, but go marvel at Mother Nature. Go take a walk and let your inner child explore. Get into the present moment. Get out of the busyness of your thinking mind that's telling you everything that is wrong with your life. And let your mind be still and quiet and just enjoy your surroundings. Be grateful for the nature you're in.
So, the second tip that we have is to bring awareness to your emotional state. So, it's really important for you to know how you feel about the things in your life in order to take this leap into the unknown with more confidence. If you are someone who is constantly at the whim of other people or at the whim of your own emotions, but you don't exactly know how you feel about different things, in your life, this is time to start creating awareness around those things. Now, this is not to judge yourself. This is not to bring judgment against yourself. It's just simply take notice. Take notice of how your relationships make you feel. Take notice how your job makes you feel. Take notice of just different things like going to the grocery or going to the gym or what it feels like to be in your own home. Just different things in your life. Just take notice. Like I said, and I will reiterate this again, this is not about judging yourself. This is just about taking notice. Because one of the biggest things when you take a leap into the unknown and having confidence in doing this is you have to figure out what's important to you. And that is how you can use the awareness of your emotions by taking notice of how you feel about things. And that's how you figure out what is important to you and how the things in your life make you feel.
Look for that joy. Look for satisfaction. Look for something that feels like success on the inside. It doesn't have to be material success or you've completed something success, but just as you're taking notice of your life, your job, your relationships, like Emily said, maybe it's going to the gym. How do these things make you feel? Do you look forward to it or is it, I've got to go do this? There's no judgment here. You want to bring awareness to your life. You want to observe your inner world when you're doing your normal daily routine.
Absolutely, because if you're trying to drag yourself into doing certain things, then chances are you're not going to be confident about taking this leap into the unknown. So, you do really want to move towards those things that bring you joy, satisfaction, that give you purpose, that give you that sense of success and fulfillment within your life. And this may be a time where you have to make some hard decisions and cut out things that don't give you those feelings. Now, and I do want to clarify, we are not saying that you should feel good all the time, every single day. What we're saying is that if you are feeling bad all of the time, every single day, then there are shifts that need to be made. We are humans and we are meant to have the ebbs and flows of our emotional state, but we can use that ebb and flow to be the observer of what we are doing as well as our thoughts, because sometimes it's our thoughts that are creating the negative emotional state and not even your surroundings. So that's another thing to take notice of. So you're just wanting to bring awareness to your emotional state and just kind of make mental notes or even write it down in your journal. What kind of things you really enjoy, what kind of relationships, lift you up, and which ones kind of bring you down. So just kind of take notice of these different things within your life.
And I want to add here that as you're doing this and you've realized certain things, it'll be obvious. I love this. This brings me joy. I feel so much satisfaction with this. But the things that don't, when you're taking that quiet time, when you're out in nature and you're taking that walk and you're away from other people's influencing energies, ask yourself questions like, what is it that I want that I'm not getting from this scenario? Whatever it is that isn't really bringing you joy and satisfaction. Ask yourself, how can I create that for myself? And just see what comes up in the quietness of your own mind. Just start to tune in that way too. That's how you can kind of use tip 1 and 2 together there.
Absolutely. It's a good point. So that brings us to number 3. So, number 3 is to shift your perspective about where you are now, even if it is for just a short term while you are trying to make these changes in your life. The reason you want to shift your perspective now is because if you have a negative perspective about where you are, then it's going to be much more difficult for you to create positive change in your life and to step into the unknown, because it takes a tremendous amount of bravery and courage to step into the unknown with confidence. So it's very important that you shift your perspective about where you are now. And the way you can do this is by trying to think of something positive that you're getting from your situation now. So, for example, if you are someone who hates your job and you really want to get another job, you want to start your own business, or you want to step into the unknown and change careers, then it's really a good idea for you to think of something positive about your job now, such as, is it putting food on your table? Is it helping you feed your family? Is it helping you pay your bills? By shifting your perspective and creating more gratitude about where you are now, then it's going to be much easier for you to create this positive change in your life and to take that leap into the unknown. And if that even feels a little bit more difficult, you could even start with something small by completing something just in your life. This doesn't have to be about your perspective, just creating something within your life, like bake some muffins. I say that because I've been baking muffins. I'm really enjoying that. If you like to create art, create an art piece. If you enjoy dancing, just do something in your life that brings you happiness in the now. And then while you're in that happier state, try to shift your perspective about where you are in the now.
By doing something to completion, this helps your mindset as you're leaping into the unknown and you're going to make a big change in your life, that you can do something, follow through, have that aligned action, and see it finished. And it's just small little steps that lead you on a big path sometimes. This can be a way to help shift your perception. I accomplished this small thing. I accomplished that small thing. Wow, I'm stacking stuff up. I can do this. Sometimes the shift in perspective might not be about, like with your job, it may not be that you do earn money and it provides things. Maybe you made a connection and a good friendship came from that.
Mm.
Just feel that. I don't really like my job, but I sure do love my friend that I got out of it. That the world brought us together. Thank you, universe. It's all about just finding little gratitude and make those small steps and do something that brings you joy and do it all the way through. Don't leave it hanging. Prove to yourself that you can do those small steps, because as you look at something bigger and larger and taking a leap into the unknown, you'll know that you can finish it too, because you've been practicing, you've been working this into your subconscious mind that you are a finisher. You begin and finish projects. All right. I think we're going to move on to number 4 and learn how your intuition works. By learning your strongest gifts and how they work uniquely to you, you will have a much easier time understanding what is and what isn't your intuition. We bring this up because me and Emily have been using our intuition for over 20 years, but it wasn't until our work in the Akashic Records and really dialing in what our strongest gift was did my intuition go to the next level. Part of that is I really thought the biggest intuition was the gift of seeing, clairvoyance. Everybody is pushing towards that, it felt like. But there are many clair gifts. And in our research in the Akashic Records, only 20% of the populace on the planet has clairvoyance and developed that as their strongest gift. But yet it is the most known gift out there.
Yeah.
It's one of those things too. Everybody has the potential to have all of the intuitive hits. All the different clair gifts can be yours and can be utilized by you, but we tend to have one or two that are your stronger gifts. And by leaning into those in my life, it's helped me to develop all of the gifts, to understand them better. Claircognizance and clairaudience are my strongest gifts. But because I've really leaned into them and used them and cultivated that inner knowing and the inner hearing, my clairvoyance is stronger. My clairsentience has become stronger. I even have gustance, excuse me, come through where I'll pick up smells that are not there in the real world. So it's a lot of fun to work on your intuition and develop, but it gets easier if you lean into your strongest gifts. And this is a big reason that in our soul activation Akashic record readings, we have a whole section on your strongest intuitive gifts because of how important and how much it changed our lives to figure this stuff out in our world.
Yes, I absolutely do agree. Absolutely agree. It has made the biggest difference for us because once we learned what our strongest gifts were, you're able to lean into those gifts and then be able to understand how your intuition works a lot easier.
Indeed.
So we'll go ahead and move on to number 5. I feel like we've picked a very too much relaxing spots. Starting to get a little sleepy listening to the birds and stuff, so I need to wake up a little. All right, so number 5 is cultivate a better relationship with your intuition. We did talk about learning what your strongest intuitive gifts are, that way that you can lean into them. And then once you are able to understand how your intuition works, then the next step would be to cultivate a better relationship with your intuition. And you do this by creating trust. When you get different intuitive guidance, and this can be even small guidance on, do I go left or maybe I'm going to go a different way to work today? And you're just like, okay, and then you just follow that guidance. That's creating trust with your guides. That's creating trust with your intuition. Once you can create this trust by following these small steps that you get, then the bigger steps follow. Some other ways you can cultivate a better relationship with your intuition is just to start with small decisions and small questions. For example, have your intuition help you pick colors to paint your house or help you pick an outfit that will give you the highest vibratory energy for your day or to help you have the most confidence. And by creating this trust with your intuition, it's going to help you experience less decision fatigue and help you to really cultivate this trust.
Yeah, the logical mind really does want to get into some paralysis by analysis. So if you just want to circumvent that, ask your intuition. Don't get into all the choices and the logical reasons why you could have it because sometimes your soul just desires what it desires and it doesn't go along with your logical mind. Sometimes magic and logic align up, but trust with your intuition because this is soul based. This is your soul communicating to you. Emily mentioned picking colors to paint the house. I was overwhelmed with the possibility of what colors to paint our house. Even whittling it down, I felt like there were 20 something colors. We just started looking at the color tones and we both landed on the same one. And we were like, yep, there we go. That's what the house is. Awesome. And we rolled with it, and it was exactly what needed to be. We didn't second guess or doubt it or get negative about it or let our logical mind tell us that a different shade would have worked a little bit better at the peak sunlight of the day. Nah, we just rolled with our intuition and felt great about it.
And we're not exactly saying that, oh, this color made all the difference. It's not really like that. It's more about trusting your intuition to help you make decisions so that you are not getting caught up in your head and going through those spirals of spending so much energy on this one thing that you don't have energy for other things. So that's why it's a really good practice to learn how to work with your intuition and decision making. That way, it really just saves a lot of your energy and helps you move forward with more confidence in this world.
As you start to develop more trust with your intuition and things are coming for you a little easier, a little more flow, a little more synchronicity, tune in and start to ask, what's that first step to begin creating the necessary shifts to see my soul's desires come to fruition, to leap into the unknown? Because your intuition, when it comes to anything that isn't just a choice of a few things and you're going to work towards a bigger goal in your life, you're going to be given guidance or a step. And depending on what you do with your free will and the aligned action that you take, the next step will present itself and then the next. Your intuition isn't going to show you the finish line at first. So as you're developing that trust and feeling, a little more in the flow, start to take those steps. Start to work towards those bigger goals. Start to work towards that leaping into the unknown and making those shifts happen in your life. All right. The sixth and final tip to leap into the unknown with more confidence. Clear your energy, clear your energy, clear your energy. This has been huge for me and Emily in our lives. We are all energetic beings having a human experience. Our immortal light body soul is here on earth having a human experience. Everything is energy, and energy moves through us, but it also leaves an imprint with us. So we pick up all sorts of other ideas and thought forms and influences from others, from the things we see on the TV or the social media or what was talked about at work. We pick them up and sometimes make them our own when it's not. So having a energy clearing practice, we have one. It takes us 3 to 5 minutes. It kicks in a parasympathetic nervous response with some box breathing techniques. We call in divine energy and we do a clearing. We do this before we do any of our intuitive work or the Akashic Records or any decisions that we want to make. I do it when I wake up and before I go to sleep. Nice and easy, a great routine to have. This helps you shed other people's energy so you can be more with just yourself. You can get real with yourself, your soul's guidance and intuition.
Yeah, that's been so true for us. I wish I would have known about energy clearing when I worked in the restaurant business. I feel like it would not have had such a draining impact on my energy. However, I did find out about energy clearing when I was also a massage therapist for 13 years while I worked in the restaurant industry as well. And when I would finish a massage, I would clear the energy, but I have definitely learned about some better practices that would have even helped massage therapy not be so physically draining as well. It's really a good idea to work with divine energy when you're clearing your energy. That way, you're not using your own physical energy in order to make that happen. Divine energy is omnipresent, and divine energy is just very strong and here for assistance. But you have to ask for the assistance in order to gain the assistance. So, when you are going to clear your energy, you want to call in divine guidance and clear your energy that way. That has made the biggest difference for us in our work when we're just hanging around people, when we're hanging around family, friends, large groups, when we go out dancing. It has just made a huge difference in every single aspect of our life.
we wanted to share with you if you're interested in this. You can go to soulvibeinsights.com. Right at the top of our landing page, you can sign up and receive a meditation from us. And in this meditation, we'll walk through how to clear your energy. We'll connect you with your chakras. We'll ask questions so you can get guidance on how your intuition works. And then we'll connect you with your line of intention. Again, if you're interested, this is a great example of just how we clear our energy through a meditation. The energy clearing portion's just a few minutes in there too. And you'll see how fast this works. soulvibeinsights.com. You can sign up right at the top of the homepage.
I think you can also put the link in the description, okay?
That's a wonderful idea. I absolutely will put a link in the description as well. Thank you.
Yeah, we are really excited about this clearing that we came up with together. It compiles everything that we've learned from our mentors and just things that we've learned throughout the year that have been very helpful. We're so excited to share this meditation with you, and we'd love to hear how it works for you as well.
Absolutely. If you got any questions or want to share any of your experiences with us, you can email me and Emily at vibin at soulvibeinsights.com. VIBIN at soulvibeinsights.com.
You can also put that in the description as well.
I'm going to get used to telling you that we can put things in the description. Thanks, honey.
You can tell that we're new podcasters. All right, so I'm just going to reiterate all 6 tips to help you leap into the unknown with more confidence. Number 1 is get alone, away from others' unwanted influencing energies to figure out what you want. 2, bring awareness to your emotional state. It's important to know how you feel about the things in your life in order to create change. 3, shift your perspective about where you are now, even if it's for just the short term until you start making the changes. It's a good idea to shift that perspective. And that way, when you make changes, you can have a more positive perspective about the changes that you make. Number 4, learn how your intuition works. 5, cultivate a better relationship with your intuition. And 6, clear your energy, clear your energy, clear your energy.
All right, y'all. We've had a lot of fun being with you again. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the podcast today and have a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world.
All right, soul friends. We'll catch you next week. Take care.